Oh, I got quiet. I can see Kelly talking like crazy, but I can't hear anything.
Dave, I had you muted while I was trying to hook up YouTube Live.
It didn't make it home, thank God.
So YouTube is live now, just so you guys know.
It's gonna be a dragon. It'll be like
Okay,
the
thank you.
dragon's mouth. And I was this far and I went to get more yarn, but it's this color. So now I gotta start again.
And dragons can be two-tone.
They can
They
be,
don't all have to be the same.
they can be.
All right, it's 5:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Ask those who can to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, before we approve the agenda, I would like to make some changes. The first thing is just a note, under 18 where it says certification of the levy and it goes on to say suspend regular and reconvene. That will be removed. Then I will just note that we will suspend when it's time for the budget hearing and we will reconvene after the annual meeting. But it won't be at any specific point of the agenda. The other thing is under accept donations, there will be an F and that is an anonymous donation. And that should be removed from the closed portion of the agenda. Board members, please note there is a paperwork in your file. You should not have seen that with the name on it. Please do not share that name with anyone. And then under new business, I'd like to add an H, which will be a committee assignment. And with those changes, I will look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Comments from the public? No? All right. Then we will go on to special appearances and that will be Christina.
I am just looking for approval to take the volleyball team to state this coming Thursday. I will be taking just one school van and then there'll be 2 personal vehicles.
The girls have fundraised for the majority of it and they will be paying the difference. There will be no cost to the school for the trip. And we will approve that later in the agenda under new business or disapprove depending on the board. Does anyone have any questions for Christina on that trip?
I don't.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll move on to the accepting of donations. And let's see. Crescent Lake Community Outreach. And I don't know that I have that one.
There's nothing,
Oh, okay.
Nothing on that one.
no, it comes to me as
So we make a wish list at the elementary of things that we need. They go shopping, and so it's $1,000 worth of
items.
items.
Okay,
Is Crescent Lake in Burnett County somewhere?
Crescent Lake is the churches at A and H.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept that donation.
Second.
I have a motion by Katie, seconded by Tom to accept the donation from Crescent Lake Community Outreach. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Knights of Columbus. This is, we get a donation every year for the special education program, and Denise will come back to us at a later meeting and tell us what she did with that money specifically for this donation. So if I could get a motion to accept the Knights of Columbus donation.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
A motion by Katie, seconded by Kelly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the KWEK Society donation to the Native American Office. And that was items giving to you, correct, Tara?
Yeah, and it'll be probably 4 times a year that they will do that.
Oh, my.
Is it this quantity 4 times a year? Cause that's a lot. Are we gonna have somewhere to put it all?
Right now, it's all in my office.
Okay.
But I'm assuming it'll be given out on a regular basis, so, okay.
So, it's a nonprofit organization. I had reached out and was kind of stunned at the amount of stuff. They were like, here you go, I'll send it tomorrow.
Okay.
I
All
heard
right.
a lot of positive comments from the students.
I would think that this would be very helpful to some of the families.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I will make a motion to accept that donation
Second.
from Quick. Is that how you pronounce
Wait,
Quake?
it's the Potawatomi word for woman.
Perfect.
Okay. You know, I'm not gonna try to say that, right? Okay, so I have a motion and a second to accept the donation to the Native American Office. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then we have Margaret Valenta. Yes. And
So-
that is for a field trip.
Weren't our DLC field trips included in our bus contract?
They are, but this will help pay so that the kids don't have to pay when they go swimming.
Got it.
For the actual
So the
activity.
buses
For the
are free, but
Yes.
this will be
Got
the,
it. Got it.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation for DLP.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rich Kim's donation to homecoming raffle. Now, my understanding is this was already donated and has been raffled off, and that Mr. Timms did not give any indication in advance that this was happening more than a week or so, so he could not get it pre-approved. And this was raised for the athletic department.
Baseball, I think, was part of that.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept Rich Tim's donation.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next donation will remain anonymous. It is an $800 donation to the cross-country team in memory of a family member that they do not wish to have named.
I'll
Okay,
make,
so that name will not leave your paperwork, okay?
I'll make a motion to accept that donation for cross-country.
Second.
I have a motion by Katie, seconded by Kelly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will move on. Do we have a treasurer's report? No,
I
we do
have it
not.
at the annual meeting.
Okay, so we will go over that at the annual meeting, so we won't do it twice. So at this time, I have some correspondence. I have a letter sent to me by Moms for Kids. Quite a surprise to me too.
What it is.
Dear sponsors, activity hosts and supporters, we had a fantastic summer season of free family fun in the park and spotted in Siren treasure hunts. Moms for Kids, working in conjunction with the Siren Open Air Committee, had free enrichment activities at Crooked Lake Park. 10 treasures each hour to find throughout town on Thursdays, June through August. The number of kids and families we served increased this year, averaging 30 to 40, up to as many as 90 per week for activities. And lots of folks for the wildly popular Spotted in Siren Treasure Hunts. We partnered with a dozen amazing and giving organizations and businesses to provide these fun and enriching activities. We had such exciting activities as bingo, stepping stones, bird crafts, piggy bank making, wind chimes, kayaking, bling keychain, story time, card making, paper airplanes, rock painting, rockets, and telescope making, as well as terrariums, scavenger hunts, and bouncy house fun. We are grateful to our partners and sponsors in bringing joy to the community. We had so many wonderful comments and thankful folks from local families to visitors. One sample comment came from a couple with their daughter visiting Siren for the very first time from Chicago. They could not believe that we had free activities every week. They said they had never seen such a giving community and they would be coming back to the community again. We thank you for contributing to this initiative to provide free, fun, and enriching activities to the community. Your efforts have made a positive impact, and we look forward to partnering with you in the future to provide more enriching opportunities for youth and families. Thanks for your kindness, Moms for Kids. P.S. Don't forget our huge holiday event of the season, which is the Northwoods Christmas Artisan and Crafters Fair, Saturday, November 4th from 9 to 3 at Siren School. All right. I have one more piece of correspondence. To whom it may concern, I am writing this letter with deep regret. After much discussion with my wife, we have come to the conclusion that it is in the best interest of Siren School that I resign my position on the school board. I would like to thank all of the people that I have served with. It was an interesting number of years. I would also like to thank the public at large, especially those that have voted for me. Lastly, I would like to thank Dr. Shetler and Peggy Moore for all they did for my family and for the school. Sincerely, Dwayne Emery. So later in the agenda, we will be accepting that resignation. Committee chair reports, building and grounds.
I don't even think we made any motions during our meeting. It was a very quick meeting, just running through things, so nothing to report back.
Okay, budget and finance, we did have a lengthy meeting, and we will be discussing some personnel decisions and some contract issues in close this evening. Policy and planning did indeed. Sorry, can't find it right now. 7:30, motion to bring 732 and the letter. Is it in here? Am I missing it? Okay. And the parent letter forward to the full board for approval. And actually 723.2, there are no actual changes to.
No, I just.
However, we found the letter that can accompany it. And after reviewing the letter, we felt that this was a good letter to go out to our parents and community explaining what our emergency procedures are in case of lockdowns and also in case of evacuation of the building. It's been a number of years since we've had to do an evacuation of the building, but it's probably time that we make sure parents are aware of those procedures again. So the motion by the committee is that we approve adding the letter to policy 723.2 and having the administration send that letter to the parents. And so I will make that motion. Oh, wait, I can't. No, I can't. Sorry. We have to wait till we get to the new business. I'm just supposed to tell you about it now. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. At this point, all of the administrators have chosen to defer their meetings. Does anyone have any items they need to have brought forward? That was to be deferred at the time.
You're aware of the Indian education report piece.
That, yes, Sherry is going to do hers.
All right, then I'm up.
You are.
So most of you have been, a lot of you have been through this before, because we get impact aid, we have to update or at least review our policies and procedures. So I sent out a notice a month ago. We sent out notice about now asking for any input. At that time, I also sent out a needs assessment. which I share here, the results. So last year I separated parents and community members and staff. So, parents for our Native students, the top, need that they see is language instruction. And then second and third are tied for attendance and parent participation. And then the staff, the number one, need is attendance. Substance abuse, number two, and then curriculum and parent participation is, tied for third. I find that this is really interesting because they pretty much always stay the same, they move around, but attendance is always number one with our staff for sure, and then with our families. And our American Indian attendance rate this year is 94.3%. If you look at the district as a whole, the attendance rate is 93.5%. So somehow there's like this disconnect, because our kids are coming to school.
But maybe that's what they mean. We're getting them to school now and we want to keep them coming
Yeah.
to school. I mean, maybe it's not that it's a bad thing.
Yeah, so I will be definitely, we're working on attendance always, but, we will also be trying to push a little bit more of parent participation, so planning, kind of culturally based activities throughout the year. So, if anybody has any comments.
When you do the surveys, you give them like, choose these things, or do they have to write in?
I have a list of things and that's based on our Title VI grant.
Okay,
Pretty much what they will fund, as far as goals. And then I do have an other section where people can write in, what they do. So, seeing if there's no comments, what I do need is the board to just approve the policies and procedures without any changes. And I don't know that that got put on the agenda, so I don't know how to work.
What's the,
We can, I'll make a motion. We amend the agenda yet again to add an approval. And I will need the people who approved the agenda and seconded to agree to the new change.
I'll approve the new change.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this time do I have a motion to approve the notice for public?
It is actually the Indian policies and procedures.
Yeah, what she said.
To approve the Indian policies and procedures.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We will move on to the approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting in September.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 25th board meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Katie, seconded by,
Motion
I know.
Kelly,
I have a motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. I wrote it down right. I just say it wrong. Too many Ks. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will now move into new business. I'm looking for a motion to approve the volleyball trip to the state tournament.
I'll make a motion to approve the volleyball date for the minute.
I'll second it.
A motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Jensen Sunquist Accident Fund Dividend Statement. So, as you know, I stay out of our insurance business, but I will just explain this because I know what it is. So when we pay our workers' comp, based on the amount of claims you have in a year, you get back a dividend. And the school was eligible for the full 15% dividend this year, so they did receive back a check for $3,309.90.
Excellent.
I will.
And that is information only.
We don't need to make a motion to accept it?
No,
Okay.
it's automatic as part of the insurance policy.
Okay.
All right, A Jackson quote, front entry band room door. Somebody's gonna have to explain this
I
to me,
don't see it in there.
because I'm not on this
it
meeting.
is here, but we did have a couple of options we talked about, building transportation, and so.
This last
Because these are still the estimates from
month.
August. But did we find out more on the railing side of things, if it's included or extra?
That's not included.
Okay,
But the question is, what do you want?
well,
Because do you just want concrete out there? If you want concrete out there, then that's what you're gonna get. You want it to actually look nice, then you're talking about adding, its cost is gonna add significantly if you add brick and that kind of.
I don't know if it needs,
You kind of know what we want in order to really get a good bid.
yeah,
And not only that, I talked to Luke and he said that if we got involved with it in engineers too much, then the cost is going to probably
Right.
triple and there's no way we can do it.
well, did we figure,
So I talked to AJ and then he gave me a number of a guy to look into to see if he can come out and give us a basically if it would still be a safe
yeah,
safe
that side of
entryway.
things, right?
Cause I called the fire department and they didn't call me back or anything. So now I'm waiting to hear back from this guy. And he will be able to tell us whether or not it will be up to code.
Yeah.
basically.
I think at the last meeting, the thing we asked about was if we, because the one plan has the ramps going off of both sides. And then,
No steps.
and then no steps, and we asked what the would be for a step down option in the middle. And I thought
Oh, yeah, to
we
do.
might be able to see something like that this month, but. And I know you said the
To
railings
combine
are
them
gonna be, yeah,
Yeah.
the railings are gonna be extra if we wanted those, I remember.
Yeah.
we were gonna look into that. So I was hoping we would have seen a bid with steps going down the middle of it or something like that.
'Cause if we add the steps down the middle, then we don't really have to worry about the safe egress
Right.
worry. I know that makes plowing potentially, or well, having to shovel the steps as being that issue. It may save us a fair amount on railing. I mean, there may be that to weigh too. How much is that railing gonna cost to go across the whole thing rather than just down the handicap sides?
I don't think that would be too much.
Much, I just have no idea how much
One
the
extra
railing,
railing across the
portion.
front, that's not. that
but do you
would be-
think the railings are a few $1,000s or tens of thousands of dollars to have them, made up and put in?
My guess would be probably $5,000 or so.
So it sounds like it needs to go back to committee.
Right,
So
we did not talk about this.
before
at
we,
our meeting.
can you just let him know exactly what, okay, so you're wanting steps down the middle?
So then there's no egress issue.
We
as
can
far
avoid the
as-
egress.
I just want him to make sure he's
Yeah.
clear on what he's going back for a bid.
Correct.
Yeah.
And no stairs as a potential was what we're talking about. So I would like to get a cost for railing, so we just have that in mind of what the range would be. And then if it becomes a big issue about trying to figure out the egress, I think the easiest way would just be to do the steps and ramps on both sides, if that seems workable.
So if we just want it to look like, we just want it to be concrete and nothing special.
I don't think it needs to have a facade on it. If facade could always be added later. If it's
Well, if you're
just,
doing steps and ramps, there wouldn't be anywhere really to add.
if the steps aren't there, then we don't have to worry about that knee wall
Correct.
area. I don't think we need it to be like stamped or colored or anything like that, but if we did a rework of brick, I mean, that could all be even on in the future.
And then, of course, the inclusion of the ramping out from the back door as well.
Yeah.
During the process to find out how much.
There's a small step at the band door where
Okay.
like, it's like a 3-inch step.
Yeah,
And so if they're pouring concrete here, it was asked by Jamie, could we just take that chunk of concrete out and make the ramp up to the step? So when they're carting equipment and
okay.
things in and out,
Fruits
it's
and
not
stuff like
that
that.
3-inch step to trip over.
So Danny, do you have a good idea
So
what?
what if we don't do the steps?
If we don't do the steps, then just figuring out what that railing part will be, and are we gonna still be able to
So you don't want
safely
any- you don't
evacuate?
Want any block, colored block or anything in front then, just a 4-foot concrete wall?
well, we could always get the art department to do something with
Yeah,
it.
they could paint a mural or something. I mean, it's gonna, I mean, we could obviously get the cost for it if you have something that would look nice in mind, having a price in front of it. But if it's gonna be another, $10, $15, $20,000 to get it to visually look appealing. I think there's other ways that we could help make it look visually
I mean,
appealing.
If we're going that route, we might as well put a pillar out in front and put the new dragon statue on. top.
Yeah, that potentially could be a good spot for the dragon statue out in front, though then that would make plowing additionally harder in the. One more thing to go around.
Well, if everything was great, it'd just be a straight ramp up to the door and we would never have to worry about plowing, but
Yeah.
that's not the way the world works.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Dan, do you know what they want?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Lisa has minutes too, but we'll get together.
Okay, so that'll go back to committee next month. Athletic contest prices.
So we talked about this
Yes, we did.
at,
Budget.
budget.
So we were just talking about prices and what we charge versus what other schools charge, and trying to get an idea. And generally, I believe we're charging $4 for adults and $2 for children. And then we also are allowing third grade and under are free, or 10 years and younger. 10 years and younger are free, so basically fourth grade and under. And then over, I'm
55.
still shocked by this low of a number, but everybody 55 or over gets in free too. So. And this is only for individuals. Most, otherwise you can do the family passes, which we have a standard rate at, and we were not asked to look at the family.
No, we weren't. It was just, I was charging $1 because there was some, documentation of that. And then I come to find out later, last year it was $2. And so
So we're just
that was
looking.
really
for
the bottom line,
clarification.
unless you
Yeah.
want to change the adult prices. You could, I got the sample for you. of
Correct.
Other districts are charging for both adults and
So
students.
Turtle Lake is 4 and 3.
Well,
Brantford's
it's
4
just
and 2.
visiting students, Turtle Lake.
Oh, yeah, their students get in free.
I think their students would get in free there, but I mean, we're looking at charging the same for Grantsburg. At
Correct.
4 and 2.
And I think Frederick is pretty much the same as Grantsburg and Shell Lake. And I mean, if you can't really compare to New Auburn and Birchwood because they are even so much tinier than
They're
us.
charging
That's-
$3 for.
They're just trying to get people
Free
in.
for adults?
Yeah.
We are right now.
This last fall, it was 3 and 1, and that was
Right.
part of my error because.
There was just a note, yeah.
You just want to give everybody a break.
So I didn't change it because that's what we were charging people this fall.
Yeah. And we said it
And we
brings
did,
in a minimal amount, but
but it's
every
enough to
little bit
help with.
helps with rest
costs.
fees and janitorial fees and things.
So I guess I'll make a motion that we go with $4 for adults and $2 for students,
Is that visiting students or our students?
everybody. Not under 10 and under are free. Our students are paying $2 now. That's not a change to our student price at all.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion by myself, seconded by Katie to charge $4 for adults, $2 for students who buy individual. Family passes will not change.
And we good keeping it at the 55?
It's somebody already made the decision, I guess. I hate to tell somebody who's been getting in free for 2
Right.
years and now we changed it to 60 and they're not, even though they were old enough last year, they're not this year. So,
That's fine. And no one's checking.
correct.
IDs.
I don't think anyone's actually asking for IDs, but
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now, we already talked about policy 723.2, threats of school violence. Again, there will be no change to the actual policy. The changes that we will include the letter, which will be sent out yearly to families. Oh, I will make a motion that we amend policy 723.2 to include the letter that is sent out to families yearly.
I second that.
A motion by myself, seconded by Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, playground discussion and grants. Building and grounds, this one's on you.
Yeah, and we just talked about it super briefly. So I went to the engineer firm that we're using. The place that they get their playground equipment is out of Delano, Minnesota. And on their website is a list of grants, both by state and by national. And I went through all of them for Wisconsin and national. We're eligible for a US bank grant, an Otto Bremer grant, and those could be a lot higher than this $5,000 ones that she's found. There's some through Dick's Sporting Goods, Finish Line Foundation. There's a lot of them listed on there. Now, there weren't like hundreds of thousands of dollar grants that I was able to locate, but there definitely were some options. So I would suggest that she hop on there, and I do have a link to those grants. Otherwise, you go on and I think you put your email in, and that's what links you to the list. And there may be maybe even more of an updated list from when I looked at it.
Do you want to reach out to her then?
I can do that. Yep,
Okay.
I can do that. So that's what I have for the
So the
grants
bigger-
part. And then the bigger part is, are we
Bigger
gonna do the
picture.
loan? Right?
Yeah, so if you. Okay, so this went to budget finance as well. The bigger picture is the board has to make a decision if we want to do it in a timely manner tonight. If they want to maintain that loan payment to fund for the playground. And you guys had a presentation from our financial advisor on that and. You know, what the process is, and it would start after tonight, then we would start with the resolution for the next meeting and moving forward on signatures and that. So I guess you guys just need to decide, you know, do you want to maintain that current loan payment? Where it is, because it's already budgeted.
Yep.
To help fund the playground moving forward, and there's a whole process to that if you do decide to do that.
Okay, so I will just say this, although I'm not totally against that plan, I do have some reservations that we may need that money in our budget because we're running on operating referendums right now, and we have no guarantee that they're going to continue. And that money could help fill that shortfall. That being said, I also recognize the need that we need a playground. I'm torn between whether we go to referendum for the playground and save that loan for operating reasons, because,
Can we use it for operating? The loan?
well,
Or
the
just-
money, the payment
The
money is gonna be in our
payment, the
budget.
payment. Yes.
Right, so that money would be in the general
$100,000.
fund versus being a loan payment of $100,000 a year. It'd be $100,000 in the budget that we could use.
So we have the option of going to referendum for the playground in the spring. And then if it weren't to pass, we could always come back to this loan option.
Correct. The
As
problem is, I
well.
think then it's the time frame
I think
issue.
it's too late. I think
For this summer, it would be too late from what
Right,
you were saying.
absolutely.
Yes,
For
would
this
have
year,
to-
it would
put
postpone
it
it
off
for another
year.
year.
yeah, there'd be, I think there's one more year, isn't that right? One more year on
Yeah.
the loan, and so then that would be the last chance to maintain it, I think.
At that point, it would become a new loan again.
Right. And then would we
Yes.
need,
loans, could we do a referendum for the payment on it?
That's basically what you do.
well, and
No,
For the referendum.
the referendum would be a separate loan. It wouldn't be to extend a loan that we already have.
no, but you could use the referendum money to pay off the loan. Like we could go through the loan process, and if we ultimately got a referendum, we could
Use that money.
use that money to just pay the loan back right away. Or we could take the loaned money and just turn it back in too, because we talked about taking the loan, putting it in a bank, it's gonna start earning interest right away until we're spending it, so it's just gonna be sitting there. If we got the referendum anyway, we'll just revert it back potentially, minus the fees of filing it. That could be a possibility. That would save our timeline. We'd be setting both options up
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Assuming a referendum may pass.
Assuming it would pass, right? Otherwise, we still end up in the same spot where now we don't have these dollars for the
Right.
operating costs if we don't get an operating referendum in the future.
And do we have a number, and I just haven't heard it, but associated with the cost of the new playground?
Yeah, it was like 900.
900 and some thousand,
Plus.
and going up every time we put it off, and I do realize that as well,
Yeah.
that our costs have gone up significantly over the last 3 years that we've been trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
I think the presentation was very specific, so I think you guys
For
have
the-
had all the information in
Yeah.
terms of loan payments in 20 year and
Yep.
longevity and And that was the purpose of doing that.
Mhm. I guess I think that the need for the playground is getting into a desperate state. I mean, there's more broken equipment out there than workable equipment. And we need to just do something about that. I like the idea of going down both routes still keeping the playground referendum on the survey so that we have that option if the community is for just that aspect, but that we're also putting in the backup that we could take a loan out to do it, but then we really need the community support if we take the loan out to help cover other
Operating
aspects.
is-
Like, no matter what, we're gonna. really
Yeah,
look
costs
at
are only
needing
going up.
the
We know
community
that.
support. Yeah,
Funding is not coming in from the government. In fact, they cut some of our funding
Right.
this year out completely.
right.
Like I said, I'm not totally against it. I just worry about what's coming in the
Yeah.
future, should the community decide not to help with operating referendums. And then we've spent what money we had on a playground, which is great, but it's not gonna be great to have a playground if we have no teachers.
Right. But it may also be that community piece that says, you know, we're doing our best, we're making the school look nicer and shinier and encourages people to give back potentially too.
I basically think we have to make the decision, are we gonna get the loan for the playground or not, and we cannot plan on another referendum passing. It's just the sad truth. I mean, we have a demographic that's on fixed incomes, and their biggest complaint is taxes going up, and so if
Although,
we're gonna do
in our
this-
defense, school taxes have gone down the last 2 years.
And
I know.
there is a potential for things going down next year as well, how the state's stuff is playing out.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we go forward with the loan process. But I would like to keep it on the referendum, the survey that goes out. To keep the information out there for community
And do
interest.
we have, where are we on that survey?
It was on hold because.
Because we had to figure
this-
this out.
Oh, okay.
What they were gonna do with
Okay.
the survey then is, if this were taken off, then they were gonna do the survey without this. on.
Okay.
That's what she's saying. She wants it
Okay,
back.
okay.
I think that would cover
Do
both.
I have a motion by Katie? Do I have a second? I'll second it. Okay. Is Dave still with us?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So all those in favor of taking the loan for the playground signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did you vote? What'd you say? Oh, you're too quiet. I can't hear. Okay, motion passes. So we will move forward.
Okay, so I'll contact her and then move the process on the.
Yeah. Hope I don't regret it next year.
I know. We gotta do something
Always
now.
over at 6 of 1 and half a dozen either.
I know,
Yeah.
that's just about it, huh? All right, so the next thing we're gonna talk is a board member vacancy. First, we need a motion to accept Dwayne's resignation.
I'll make the motion to accept his resignation.
Motion by Katie,
Want to second it, but I guess I will.
seconded by Kelly. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
With regret. All right, so our policy is, I'm sure you all know, because we've done this repeatedly in the last 3 years. We will post an ad in the paper asking for candidates to come forward that are interested in filling the vacancy. They will fill out the documents that are available at the district office, and the names will come to the board.
Can we put it up on Facebook as well?
Yes. And not just Facebook, maybe even on the school website.
Website, yeah.
Just so that it's out there, that people know we're looking.
And it has to be out there for 60 days? During the 60 days immediately following the board make bill by appointment, or we just
Oh,
have
no,
during
no, we have 60 days to,
to do it.
if, what they're saying is we have to try for 60 days to
60
get a
days.
volunteer. If they don't, then we can just appoint anybody we want,
Got it,
as long as they agree to do it.
got it.
But we have to give volunteers 60 days.
That's what I'm saying. We're
But we
gonna,
only have to run it for like 2 weeks, and if we get any, we can look at them then.
got it. That's what I.
We don't get any, then we have to run it for another 2 weeks until at least 60 days are up,
There it is. 2
and that's
weeks. Okay,
by
see,
statute. So I just need a motion to place that ad.
A motion to place the ad to find a new board member.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Katie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. If there are any by the personnel meeting, we'll look at them. Then if there aren't any by then, we'll wait till the end of the month. If there aren't any then, we wait till the next person.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see what happens. That's the best we can do. All right, so calendars. Budget and finance.
You added a couple items under H9.
Oh, thanks. Sure did.
Committees.
Age. Right?
Yeah.
Just age.
Committee.
Okay, committee assignment. So because of Dwayne's resignation, that leaves me with a buildings and grounds committee that has only 2 people on it. So I would like to appoint Jamie to that committee to fill the vacancy until we get a new board member. Jamie's not here this evening, but I don't anticipate that being an issue with her because she was on that committee before and did seem to like it. So that change will be reflected on the website for committee members. Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to her before this, but I'm quite certain she will agree. All right. I didn't add anything else, right? Okay. Budget and finance.
Oh, no,
What?
you did. You forgot to approve the impact aid.
Oh, thank you.
No.
We already approved
We
it.
proved it.
We approved it right after her
Oh,
We
presentation.
added that one as number 2.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks all. Yeah,
I added,
I've made a lot of changes tonight, so keeping me on track is okay tonight. All right, budget and finance. I know that some people are going on break over Thanksgiving week, so I would like to avoid that week if we can. Laura, what is the earliest you could be ready? Can you be ready before the Thanksgiving break? Okay, Katie, what days aren't you available again?
Every Wednesday,
Oh, good, because Wednesday's out for me now
Yeah.
too.
but then the other ones fluctuate.
Okay, so, Dave, are you with me?
Yep.
Okay, are you available the week of the 13th?
I am.
All right, so I could do Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday would be better for me.
Tuesday, can you do Tuesday, Dave, the 14th,
What time?
4:15?
Yes.
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, budget and finance, the 14th at 4:15. Building, grounds and transportation.
Okay.
It's not gonna be able to do Thursday.
I will tell you that the basketball schedule will impact Jamie's availability. I know
Yeah.
that. Or wait, is it boys or girls?
Boys.
Oh, then it won't impact her.
I could do the 7th if we did it before. I could do the 14th at before or after the budget meeting.
Maybe 4:03
We do the 14th at 3,
or 3:30.
3:30?
3:30, just to deal with school.
Okay,
Well, let's break.
14 to 3:30.
that gives you enough, 45 minutes gives you enough time?
I don't-
Or do we need to change
It
budget
was,
to?
it was really quick
Oh, okay.
before the last meeting. I don't know if there's gonna be a ton of stuff to
Okay.
He's gonna have.
Well, the staff
have, just the steps.
And that's about the only thing you guys got
Yeah.
going, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be fine. So building and grounds, 3:30 on the 14th. And do we even need a policy?
What?
Do we even need policy next month?
You're gonna have to look at a nurse policy.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna take them more than 2 weeks to get it ramped up. I don't think it's gonna be ready.
It's up to you guys.
Let's put it off until another month. You know what we want.
So we
On
just
there.
want to do it to be determined if
Yeah, if something major comes up, we can do one, but I can't think, we have nothing hanging out there for policy right now and
Is the
with
nurse
it,
one the field trip one? The nurse,
no,
nurse
No,
policy.
it's
No.
about distribution.
it's a new policy we've discussed with Kevin, we'd like to come up with on
She also mentioned. it.
distributing medications.
But I don't know,
Who's
that's
she?
the nurse,
The nurse,
About what?
a field trip policy.
like how to deal with meds on a field trip.
Yeah, and like timelines and things like
Oh.
that, notice.
Yeah, we can do that in December.
I'll talk with her and see. If we need to bring it, we'll bring it.
If you need to, you call us, we'll set something up, but I'm thinking. I mean, if we don't have a policy on that now and we've been having field trips for 100 years, it's obviously not a real issue.
It's probably good to have.
It's probably okay to have it, but it's probably not life or death.
No field trips probably happening next.
No,
No,
yep,
there's some.
actually there.
Well, darn it.
All right. So at this time, I am looking for a motion to approve the bill.
Do you want to do the regular meeting?
It's the November 27th at
Just-
6. Yep, we're not changing it. It's
All right.
as is said.
Perfect.
Um,
I will approve the bills. Make a motion to approve the bills.
a motion by Katie, seconded by Kelly to approve the bills. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Items for board signature. I know I've signed some, Katie signed some. I think we're good.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's see what time is it? 6:14. The budget meeting's at 6:45.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started then on a close. We'll just have to go back into open, suspend the meeting, go back into closed after. Okay, so at this time I'll convene to closed session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.851 CEFG to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee for which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, considerations of financial, medical, social, or personal information, and to confer with legal counsel who is rendering oral or written advice. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Katie, seconded by Kelly. Dave, can you call the roll?
Yeah, who's all there?
Can't you see us?
I can see Katie,
Yes,
all the way to Katie.
then
Tom is the only one up behind Katie.
Okay. So Tom,
Yes.
Katie,
yes,
Peggy,
Yes,
and who's the close one?
Kelly.
Ellie.